Today, we'll explore the real story of the Titanic. The ship that sank in 1912 became one of the world's most famous tragedies. But there's a big difference between the movie and reality. Today, we'll see what the movie showed accurately and what was dramatized.
As the Titanic set sail, it was hailed as a marvel of modern engineering promising luxury and safety. But on that fateful night in April, the unthinkable happened. The ship struck an iceberg, leading to chaos and panic amongst the passengers. In the cold waters of the North Atlantic, the iceberg loomed silently before the Titanic collided with it, creating a catastrophic breach in its hull. As the ship began to sink, fear spread among the people on board. With lifeboats insufficient for all aboard, many faced harrowing choices as they struggled to survive. The sea claimed countless souls, leaving an indelible mark on history. Years later, the discovery of the Titanic's wreckage reignited interest in the tragedy, prompting questions about safety and human error. The memory of that fateful night lives on, reminding us of the fragility of life at sea. The Titanic began its first and final journey on April 10, 1912 from England. Its destination was New York. It was being called unsinkable by many. Everyone praised it as a marvel of engineering. On board, the grandeur of the Titanic was unmatched, with lavish interiors that showcased luxury at its finest. Passengers mingled in the opulent first-class lounge, enjoying the exquisite atmosphere and each other's company. As the Titanic cruised through the vast Atlantic, the sun began to set, painting the sky in warm hues. Excited first-class passengers stood on the deck, gazing into the distance, filled with dreams of the adventures that awaited them. As twilight enveloped the Atlantic, the Titanic glided gracefully through the water, its silhouette a majestic sight against the dusky sky. The ship forged ahead, embodying both strength and beauty as it continued toward its fateful destination. Inside the grand dining room, the atmosphere was alive with laughter and clinking glasses, as first-class passengers savored a lavish meal. Each plate was a masterpiece, reflecting the culinary excellence that defined the Titanic's luxurious experience. The RMS Titanic was built to be huge and luxurious, boasting 3 distinct classes: first, second, and third. The wealthy passengers enjoyed unparalleled luxury, while those less fortunate were confined to cramped rooms below deck. The grand dining saloon was a sight to behold, where affluent passengers dined and socialized in opulent surroundings. In stark contrast, the third-class area was filled with families, each facing their own challenges amidst the vastness of the ship. As the Titanic sailed majestically through the ocean, its grandeur dominated the landscape, epitomizing the height of maritime engineering. The powerful engines worked tirelessly to propel the ship across the vast Atlantic, promising a new era of luxury travel at sea. Onboard guests were swept away by the elegance of the grand ballroom, where laughter and music created an atmosphere of celebration. Yet as the ship glided through the waters, lifeboats remained eerily empty, foreshadowing the impending tragedy that would soon unfold. In the movie Titanic, Jack and Rose's love story is central, but in reality, no such romance was ever documented. It was created just for the film. The Titanic was an engineering marvel of its time, yet it met a tragic fate on its maiden voyage, highlighting the stark contrast between fiction and the harsh truths of history. As the ship struck the iceberg, chaos erupted on board, illustrating the terrifying reality of survival against the odds amidst the grandeur of the ill-fated voyage. In those frantic moments, decisions were made that would alter lives forever, encapsulating the real tragedy that unfolded when the Titanic met its end. As the Titanic sank beneath the waves, hope dwindled, and the true stories of bravery and loss began to emerge from the shadows of that fateful night. In the aftermath, stories of heroism and heartbreak surfaced, revealing the enduring impact of that night on those who lived to tell the tale. Years later, the legacy of the Titanic remains a reminder of human ambition and the fragility of life, forever etched in history. Some characters in the film, like Captain Smith, were real, but Jack and Rose were fictional. Many real people on the Titanic had stories even more emotional and powerful. Among the passengers were individuals with dreams and aspirations, each carrying their own tales of love, loss, and bravery that unfolded in those final moments. One story tells of a mother who sacrificed her own safety to ensure her child had a chance at survival, embodying the spirit of selflessness amid chaos. Another account highlights a father who insisted on staying behind to help others, leaving an indelible mark of heroism as he faced the freezing waters alone. As the ship went down, musicians played on their final notes, echoing through the night, a poignant reminder of the beauty that existed even in the face of despair. In those final moments, the once mighty ship was swallowed by the ocean, leaving behind countless stories of courage, love, and tragedy that would be remembered forever. On the night of April 14, 1912, Titanic struck an iceberg. The collision was so silent that many passengers didn't realize anything had happened, but the damage was severe. As the night progressed, laughter and joy filled the air with guests, enjoying the luxurious amenities the ship had to offer. Little did they know the tranquility would soon be shattered. On the bridge, the crew received alarming reports about the iceberg's position, anxiety building as they realized the gravity of the situation. Moments later, it happened. The Titanic struck the iceberg. Passengers were jolted from their sleep, confusion spreading as they tried to comprehend what had just occurred. Meanwhile, crew members rushed to assess the situation, urgency gripping their hearts. As alarm spread, passengers gathered on deck, wrapped in blankets, trying to grasp the severity of the situation. Crew members scrambled to prepare lifeboats, realizing time was running out. As water started flooding the ship, panic set in. There weren't enough lifeboats, and women and children were sent first. The movie portrayed this scene quite accurately. Amidst the chaos, an overwhelming sense of dread enveloped the passengers as they realized the true peril they faced. Each passing moment intensified the urgency of their desperate struggle for survival. In that heart-stopping moment, families were torn apart, each choice resonating with the weight of despair. The unforgiving sea seemed ready to claim its victims as hope began to wane. In the midst of fear, courage emerged from unexpected places as some passengers stepped up to provide solace amidst the turmoil. Time was slipping away as the once mighty vessel faced its tragic fate. With each passing second, the reality of the situation became more dire as the ship began to succumb to the relentless sea. Desperation hung in the air, mingling with the cries of those clinging to life. A band played music till the end to keep people calm, while many heroes on board died while helping others survive. As the chaos unfolded around them, the soothing melodies provided a brief escape from the fear that gripped everyone on board. In those final moments, the sound of the band resonated deeply, uniting strangers and igniting a flicker of hope amid despair. As the last song played, emotions surged and the memories of those lost became forever intertwined with the melodies that resonated through the chaos. In the heart of turmoil, the music became a beacon, reminding everyone that even in loss, acts of heroism could shine brightly and inspire hope. With each note floating across the waves, the spirit of those who fought for others lingered on, reminding everyone of the strength found in unity and resilience. As the night deepened, the echoes of the band's final performance became a rallying cry for courage, celebrating the lives of heroes who gave everything for the sake of others. In the quiet moments that followed, the ocean held their stories, transforming grief into a legacy of remembrance and inspiration for all who witnessed their bravery. First-class passengers got priority in lifeboats, while third-class passengers were trapped below, creating a stark contrast that the movie depicted. But the reality was far more harrowing. As the lifeboats drifted away into the darkness, the cries of those left behind echoed through the night, highlighting the brutal and unjust reality faced by many. In those final moments, as the great ship succumbed to the sea, chaos reigned on deck, and the true cost of class division became painfully clear. Amidst the turmoil, love and desperation collided as families were torn apart, leaving behind haunting memories of a night that would change history forever. As dawn broke, the reality of the disaster unfolded on the pages of history, marking a day of mourning and reflection for lives lost and the inequalities laid bare. In the years that followed, memorials rose to honor the victims, reminding the world of the dreams shattered by fate, forever etched in the hearts of those who remembered. The tragedy sparked a reckoning, prompting discussions on safety regulations that echoed through maritime history. as the world sought to ensure such a disaster would never happen again. The Titanic, once a grand symbol of luxury, broke into two and sank into the ocean, taking with it over 1,500 lives. The movie portrayed this tragic moment with suspense, but the reality of that night was far more horrifying. As the mighty ship slipped beneath the surface, chaos ensued in the freezing waters, where cries for help echoed and the desperation of those left behind became palpable. In the aftermath, rescuers raced against time, shining their lights into the darkness, hoping to find anyone left clinging to life after the unimaginable disaster. Beneath the waves, the Titanic lay still, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life, while above, communities gathered to honor the memory of those who tragically lost their lives that fateful night. The days that followed saw newspapers flooded with headlines capturing the nation's grief and disbelief as families mourned the loss of their loved ones in an unimaginable tragedy. Survivors gathered to share their tales of horror and bravery, their voices resonating with an audience eager to understand the depths of that fateful night. The Titanic accident left many people floating in freezing water for hours, some desperately waiting for a chance to board lifeboats. Their stories are both heartbreaking and inspiring. Among the survivors was a young woman who fought against the bitter cold, her spirit unyielding as she struggled to remain afloat. Nearby, an elderly man held onto a lifeboat, his heart heavy with memories, while he dared to hope for a rescue. On a nearby lifeboat, survivors found warmth in each other's company, sharing their harrowing tales beneath a blanket of stars. Meanwhile, a rescue ship approached its bright spotlight, cutting through the darkness, revealing those still fighting for survival. A young boy, shivering and lost, sat on the deck of the rescue ship, his tears a symbol of both loss and resilience against the vastness of the sea. Nearby, a nurse moved among the survivors, her compassionate touch offering solace and warmth in the aftermath of tragedy. When the Carpathia ship arrived, only a few survivors remained. The rescue was late and many died of hypothermia. The Titanic movie also depicted this rescue scene. As the crew worked tirelessly, the cold and darkness loomed heavily over the scene, each moment measured against the lives hanging in the balance. The tragedy of the Titanic echoed in the hearts of all who were present. Every rescue brought a flicker of hope, yet the chilling reality of loss weighed heavily on those who had endured the nightmarish ordeal. Inside the Carpathia, warmth and compassion flowed as the crew provided solace to the shaken survivors, each story intertwined with sorrow and bravery. As dawn broke, the light signified not only survival but the strength found in unity, a reminder that even in profound darkness, hope could begin to rise again. The captain's gaze was filled with the burden of responsibility, while the survivors found solace in shared experiences, slowly transforming their grief into a bond that would last a lifetime. Later, Titanic accident investigations revealed that iceberg warnings were ignored. There were too few lifeboats. The crew was untrained. These all contributed to Titanic's disaster. As the night progressed, warnings about the icebergs were received, but ultimately disregarded, leading to a fateful collision that changed history forever. The chaos unfolded as the Titanic began to sink, with limited lifeboats creating a grim situation for those aboard, leaving many stranded in the freezing ocean. As dawn broke, rescue ships arrived, but the tragedy left behind echoes of despair, with survivors gazing in disbelief at what had been lost beneath the waves. In the aftermath, investigators convened to piece together the events leading to the Titanic's demise, unveiling a pattern of negligence and miscommunication that would echo through history. The wreck site became a solemn grave, a stark reminder of the lives lost, while survivors bravely shared their stories, demanding answers and accountability for the tragedy. The 1997 film revitalized fascination with the Titanic, drawing audiences to explore the actual events surrounding the legendary ship. Yet it embellished many details for dramatic flair. As curiosity blossomed, schools across the nation saw students digging into the tragic story behind the Titanic, investigating its legacy. Exhibits featuring artifacts from the fateful voyage captivated visitors, bridging the gap between fiction and reality. Friends gathered around their television experienced the emotional roller coaster of the film, sharing tears and laughter. Meanwhile, memorials honoring those who perished became places of reflection, ensuring that the real tragedy was never forgotten. Inspired by the film's resurgence of interest, authors began penning books that offered new insights into the Titanic's story. Infographics illustrating the ship's ill-fated voyage provided a visual narrative highlighting both its grandeur and tragic fate. The real story of Titanic is more emotional than the movie. The sacrifices and mistakes of real people teach us valuable lessons. The film entertains, but the truth teaches us. As the Titanic embarked on its maiden voyage, Captain Edward Smith felt an overwhelming sense of pride. Passengers filled the dining room, savoring a final moment of luxury, oblivious to the calamity that lay ahead. In a fateful moment, the Titanic struck an iceberg, the sound echoing through the night. Chaos erupted on the deck as fear swept over the passengers, realizing their perilous situation. Amidst the turmoil, a young couple held on to each other tightly, cherishing their love even in the face of certain doom. As lifeboats departed, the haunting image of those left behind became etched in history. A mother clutched her children, her voice trembling as she offered soothing words in their final moments. The Titanic's bow rose ominously, a chilling reminder of the lives forever changed by the tragedy.